Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking tools, as in the tools you need to do some 3D printing. Okay, so you got your 3D printer, right? You got to set the thing up. They generally give you little tools in the toolbox or in the package. These little Allen wrenches, for example. You've seen them, you've worked with them before, maybe. You know them. You know that they also don't hold up very well. So, what do? I use tools like these. Long-handled hex wrenches. I've had these particular ones for over 30 years because you know what? They're good quality, they last. But these are more of an investment than anything else. If you're going to be working on 3D printers or doing 3D printing for a while, invest in some good tools. Very important. Another thing you're going to need. Good side cutters. For instance, you want to trim up some filament. You're going to have to trim filament up, no matter what. You always need, these are should be a basic tool that you have. And you can get good ones like this, or you can get better ones that I've had in my toolbox for a long time. Flush cutters are the ones you want. You want the ones that are completely flat on the back. Not the ones that are almost like side cutters. Side cutters will work, but if you want to get close and you want to really trim close to your piece you're working with, flush cutters are the way to go. This tool here, it's a deburring tool. Highly recommended. You just finished up a print. It's got a real sharp edge. You want to trim it down a little bit. And you have a nice smooth edge. Also good for taking off the brims and supports, but it leaves a real nice finish that won't nick into or cut into your fingers. Then there's tools you can actually make. Like I printed up these tools out of PETG from my Bamboo Labs printer. This is used for disconnecting the electrical connector in the back of the AMS. You just can't get your fingers back there and you don't want to jam it with a screwdriver and bend the connection up. So you print the tools up. And this is also for getting to the PTFE tubes in the back as well. Now, when you're done your print, you want to, and it won't pop off very easily, you're going to have to use some sort of scraper, right? Well, if you check the various 3D printing websites, you can find scrapers that you can print. You just want to use the best material you can for it. You're going to want to try different ones. I usually recommend a printed one as opposed to using like a razor blade, only because I don't want to scratch up that print bed. I don't want to, mar up the surface, but you can use these. It's just, this is kind of a last resort for me. If I have something that sticks real hard to the print bed, then this is the last resort. Now, this is a very stubby one, but a hobby blade. You're going to use this for everything. Again, if you had little pieces of flash inside here, you can get in there with the piece, trim them out. This is kind of a no-brainer tool. You're going to use it for everything. For trimming off those little tiny pieces of plastic and those little intricate prints that you do. A hobby blade is like the standard, no matter what hobbies you're involved in. Definitely recommended. Same thing with a good pair of tweezers. You wouldn't think, huh? But believe it or not, I use this to clean out little pieces of the plastic that gets, in between all the bits of my printer. And also, inside prints, when you get little pieces of support material that may break off inside, you need to reach in there, grab it, pluck it out. A good pair of tweezers will do it. I've got several different sets of tweezers. And then eventually you're going to have a nozzle clog. It does happen. I've been, fortunately, knock on wood, I've been lucky not having to use one of these, but this is like an acupuncture needle. Be very careful using it. They're very sharp. But you can use it to clean out the nozzle. Now, there are nozzle declogging tools, and I don't have one of those, unfortunately, yet, but it's a good thing to have if you ever wind up having a nozzle clog. Next thing we're going to talk about, desiccant. What do you use this stuff for? Well, depending on what type of filament you're using, you got to keep it dry. It's always better to have a lower humidity level with your filament so that you don't get any moisture causing, bubbles and pops inside your plastic. And although PLA is generally pretty resistant to moisture, either PLA, PETG, especially PETG, you really need to dry it. And using either a filament dryer, a separate filament dryer, or desiccant to help draw out that moisture is very important. I've tried several different types of desiccant, and what I mean by desiccant is it's basically the same stuff whenever you order a piece of electronics or something. That little packet, that little dry packet comes in there. It's this stuff. It's desiccant, and it absorbs the moisture. I've tried the color changing stuff, and it does work, but I notice it wears out pretty fast. And you can bake it and recharge it, but I've noticed that it just doesn't do as well as this stuff right here. This is activated alumina. This is by Slice Engineering. Highly recommend this stuff. So the biggest difference when I put it in my AMS, as with the color change of the indicating silica stuff, it took a few hours for it to bring the humidity levels down far enough. I put this in, and within 1 hour, the humidity level went from 35 to 10. That fast. This stuff works. Definitely invest in it. It is, you can bake it as well. It is reusable. So definitely make the investment, get a good desiccant, and stick with it. Last but not least, good old-fashioned IPA, isopropyl alcohol. You're going to need to clean your print bed. You're going to need to clean your tools. You're going to need to clean a lot of things in the printer. I like to try to keep mine as clean as possible. It is a tool. You want it to last. Dirt and dust will get in things. Just from your fingers touching the heat bed and some of the bits inside, the oils on your fingers can get onto the print bed and cause you to have adhesion issues. So it's highly recommended you clean the bed, and I like to use IPA. You can also use, like Dawn dishwashing liquid. It just depends on the print bed that you use the most. I like to use the original default print bed from Bamboo Labs, and it just works. So I clean it with IPA every couple prints. I try not to touch the bed as much as possible, but using this stuff keeps it clean. The higher the concentration you get, the better. I mean, you can use 70%. It just takes a little longer to dry, but this is 99%, the same stuff you would use in what we call optical grade for like cleaning camera lenses and such. And it cleans and dries quickly. Okay, so you've got your print done. Now you have multiple pieces. How are you going to put it together? Some of the things you're going to use are going to be like super glue and also an activator. Whoop. you know, for it's an accelerator for super glue. It allows you to, instead of waiting a couple seconds, you spray this on there and it helps to basically set it instantly. Depending on the materials you're using, you might also want to use an epoxy, a 2-part epoxy, depending on the strength you're looking for. I've even used model glues. You can buy material specific glue, PLA. I mean, I've seen guys use pipe cement. I've had really good luck, believe it or not, with good old-fashioned tube model glue. It works. Sandpaper and files. You're going to want to, if you're using multiple part, pieces, or you want to sand down edges to make things smoother, if you're going to do some painting or filling, files and sandpaper. And good for cleaning up if you're just doing a single print that doesn't need any filing, but you want to take off the little strings or the other things. Good old-fashioned torch gets the job done. These are just some of the basic tools you're going to use when you're doing your 3D printing. Now, if there's tools that you've been using for a while, if you're a regular user of 3D printers, hey, leave a comment. Tell me some about your favorite tools. What do you like to use? Any suggestions for me? That's one thing nice about the community. Talk to other people, recommend things, help each other out. Hopefully I was able to help you guys out some way. Like and subscribe if you could, please. Please, please, please. Also go to the Patreon page. Think about becoming a member. I'd really appreciate it. I definitely need some more support for this channel to make it grow, to give you guys better content in the future. Again, thank you very much. Hope you have a good Thanksgiving. We'll see you next time.